Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you an easy way to tape an inside drywall corner after repairs. I'll be using a 12-inch taping knife to apply the all-purpose joint compound before I add the paper tape. This allows you to speed up the process and get a pretty consistent bed of mud for perfect corners. And if you follow my step-by-step process in this video, you're going to get perfect corners every time. I also show you what to do in between coats and then how to do the final coat as well. Then I show you how to skim coat this entire sheet of drywall that I had to replace for a repair. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to mix up the corner taping mud perfectly. It needs to be a little soupier than normal. Be sure to check that out at the end of this video. If you're new to the channel, my name's Paul and I've been a drywall and painting contractor for over 20 years. If you're looking to step up your drywall, texturing, and painting game, be sure to hit that subscribe button and also the bell notification to get alerted whenever I post a new video. Let's get into this video. All right, so if you've been following along on this DIY wallpaper removal disaster, you knew that I had to do a bunch of prep work and skim coat these walls. But I did get a lot of questions about the sheet of drywall that was replaced and how I was going to do the corner tape on that. So I want to do this video so I could let everyone see. So the first thing I wanted to do was just roll out the tape to be sure I have enough length on it and just tear it at the bottom. That way I have enough tape for one shot, not two pieces of tape. You don't want to do two pieces of tape. You can crease it in the corner. There's a pre-factory made crease in it that you fold right along and then put that aside because you're going to want to put your mud up first to bed the paper tape in. I always use paper tape to get nice, crisp, clean corners. As you see, I'm using my 12-inch taping knife and some thinned down all-purpose joint compound. I'm just going about 2 to 3 inches wide and kind of pre-filling the gap. Again, I'm butting up against an older wall. So I've got a new sheet of drywall and then an older wall that have wallpaper that the homeowners tried to get off of there and didn't really do a good job. So basically, I'm just getting the mud up here. Again, about a 2 to 3 inch swath of mud. Kind of leaving it a little thick right in the corner so I can fill that. You want to try and fill any voids or gaps. If you've got big gaps, you want to pre-fill that and let it dry before you do the taping or bedding of the tape. But these gaps weren't big at all. I was able just to slide it pretty tight. So what you want to do is now take your paper tape and point it right at the center of the corner and then just kind of take your finger and push it in and get it in the position that looks pretty good. You don't want any creases or any bumps or anything in the tape. You want nice consistent lines. So then you want to take your 6-inch taping knife starting from the middle. You want to go down and out from the tape, applying a pretty decent amount of pressure. You want to squeeze out most of the mud. Again, I started in the center and went down. And as I go towards the bottom, I just squeeze it out the side. So then you want to start in the center again and go up. This prevents crinkling of the tape, which you don't want because it's not a good look and going to cause you a little bit more work to get it nice and tight. And just like on the bottom, you want to squeeze the mud out at the top and to the side. You don't want any humps or a lot of mud left there. So you just want to make sure to squeeze out most of the mud. That's why it's best to have it a little soupy. It really squeezes out nicely. Got that other side. Now I'm going to do a light coat over the tape. I mean very light. So it kind of puts you ahead of the game with another coat of mud over the top. super light. You don't want to pile it up quite yet. I like using the 6-inch knife because it's stiff and it really gives you a nice, clean, crisp corner with the paper tape. Don't use fiberglass mesh tape for corners. Again, this is just the bed coat. I'm going to be doing one more coat after this, and then I'm going to skim out the new sheet of drywall, so stick around for that as well. Notice how I place the mud on the certain corner of the knife. This keeps it from squeezing out the sides. I always try and work clean, less mess, less cleanup, less sanding. You want to keep your knife out of the exact corner. You don't want to put pressure in the tape because you could tear it or grab it and pull it down. So I'm just cleaning this up, cleaning out any mud. You can pretty much just eyeball where you need to pull or squeeze out the mud. You don't want any bubbles or anything underneath the tape. All right, so there's the first coat, bedded and has a coat over the top. So after it's dry, what you want to do is take your 6-inch taping knife and scrape out or just go over it to get any loose particles of joint compound or any boogers. I call them boogers. They're just like little chunks of mud that can build up. No need to sand after the first coat. And actually, I won't be sanding this corner at all until after the skim coating. Again, I'm loading the mud on the corner, staying out from the center of the corner so I don't tear the tape or anything. Now I'll come back and clean this up once I've got the mud on each side. And when I'm doing this, I'm lifting on the left edge. Now I'll be lifting on the right edge just a little bit. See how clean that turns out? Wipe that out. You want to take your time with the corners because they do stick out and stand out after it's painted, and if you see a curve or a hump, it's not going to look good. So take your time on the corners. This video should get you through that process. So that's one side. Do this other side. Again, I'm putting the mud over on the left side when I'm pulling down. Now I'm applying a good amount of pressure, just trying to keep all the edges nice and tight and clean so I don't have big ledges. You just want to make sure you don't do that. I'm taking my time with this corner. I just want you to be able to see exactly how I'm doing this mud work so you can get a nice perfect corner yourself. If you have any questions, be sure to ask me down in the comments. I'm happy to help. So if you got stuck on a project or something, be sure to ask me and I'll get to as many of the comments as I can. I'll also leave links in the description below to the whole series of videos from this wallpaper removal nightmare. Alright, just clean this up a little bit and then we'll be second coated. Look how nice and straight that corner is. That's what you're looking for. I know those other walls are beat up to the left over there. In my series, I show you how to skim coat those walls. And I also have a video series of getting rid of that mirror mastic and skim coating that wall as well. So there's that corner. I'm going to show you how to skim coat this wall once it's dry. I'm using an all-purpose joint compound, thinned down with water, probably to a thick yogurt consistency for skimming over these walls. And I'm using my bucket scooper, which makes it super simple to get the mud out of the bucket. Also using these LED lights that light up the area, and you can see all the imperfections. So basically I'm going to get this mud up on the wall and then smooth it all out. I'm using my 14-inch taping knife for this. Just leaves less lines. It's okay to use your same 12-inch taping knife. Again, I'm just getting the mud up there. I don't want to pile it up, but I am going to skim over it and even it all out. Let me adjust that light so you can see it a little better. Going to place the mud. Just want to get total coverage. This helps after you paint. These walls are not getting textured, so skim coating them just gives you a consistent look after you paint it, because sometimes the joint compound on the nails or joints will absorb the primer and paint differently, and you can see that. You've probably seen that before at a house or somewhere you've went. You're like, what's going on with those walls? Alright, so I'm applying pressure to the right and lifting on the left. You can see the line I'm leaving on the right, and there's no line on the left. That's because I'm putting most of the pressure on the right side and just slightly lifting the left side of the knife. As you can see, this stuff really turns out like glass. I love skim coating and blowing the minds of the customer when they come back in and see their hideous walls to beautiful walls. Again, I'm applying the pressure to the right, lifting on the left. That way I don't have any lines and minimal sanding. That's your main focus usually, is to make sure you're not going to have a lot of sanding. Put the mud on and basically take most of it off. Alright, there's that corner. There's the skimmed out wall. Let me know in the comments if you're a DIYer, a contractor, painter, handyman. Just kind of curious. All-purpose joint compound. You want to make it a little soupy. This has not been mixed up at all. So it's best for corners, inside corners, to make it a little soupy. Not too soupy, but I'll show you about how thick you want it. I got a little container I use to pour water in, instead of just guessing. I can control it easier. And if you got too much water, you just dump it out as you go. Just get it all mixed up, get it off the corners or the sides, because that's going to stay a little thicker if you don't get it off. So just get it off the sides, turn your pan around, like a little more water. If you watch this whole video, leave a hashtag drywall tube in the comments. That way I know who's watching these videos. The corners go a lot easier if you have it kind of soupy. If it's too thick, then you might get some bumps under the tape that are hard to get out once you get the tape bedded. So that looks pretty good. Again, just regular paper tape. Let's do this. And if you want to step up your drywall, texturing, or painting game, be sure to hit that round icon in the middle of the screen now to keep up with all my latest videos. If you've got a friend that's a contractor or DIYer, be sure to share this video with them on Facebook or Twitter. Thanks so much for watching.